So I figured out how to never smoke weed again. In this video, I'll be sharing with you the mindset shift you need to make to never smoke weed again. But for this to make sense to you, I'll start by sharing a little backstory about my own experience, because I have been smoking weed every single day for close to 10 years. I was just a little junkie, sitting my ass on the couch, wasting my time, wasting my life, doing fuck all, not being involved in sports, socially totally imploded, insecure, no dating life, just everything was just down bad. And it took me 10 years, almost 10 years, to eventually quit smoking weed, of which the last 2 years I was really involved in trying to quit smoking weed. Actually, it took me just over 2 years to actually be able to eventually succeed in this. And what I'm about to share with you played a huge role in my success, because I've been trying to quit weed multiple times for, like I said, 2 years. There was one time where I was able to quit for actually 3 months all by myself. And then there was just this one moment that I was sitting with my friend, because I still used to hang out with the same old friends, and they would just smoke weed and I would just sit there and biting on my hands and not doing it. And obviously, like you would expect, there was this moment that I just couldn't get it anymore. I was just sitting with one friend one-on-one, he was smoking weed, and I snapped. I said, fuck it, give it to me, let me smoke it. And obviously, this very next day, I was back at zero, back at point zero, smoking weed on my own, in my house, on the couch again, and just straight back into the old behavior. And that was all because of my mindset was really wrong at the time. For the first thing is, I wasn't able to switch my identity. So I just thought, well, I want to quit weed, I want weed out of my life, but I didn't think of replacing it with something else and to literally change my whole identity to the new person I want to become. So like I said, I was just hanging with the same old friends, and therefore I fell back into smoking weed again eventually. And also I thought, well, right now I should quit weed, because it got me into so much misery, and I was down bad financially. I fucked up my work eventually, I fucked up my relationships, and I thought I just had to quit weed, get my stuff back on track, get my life back in order, and then maybe in a few years I can enjoy my weed again. And this was a very toxic mindset, which led me to struggle with quitting weed for 2 years. And the thing I want you to understand, to take away from this video, to actually never ever smoke weed again, is to literally say to yourself that you can never ever again smoke weed again. And this is a very fundamental mind shift. Let me get you a little bit of extra explanation, because obviously it's very logical, but it's very hard to actually put this in your mind, because I always thought, well, I enjoy smoking weed, I like the taste of it, I like the moment for myself to just relax, and I didn't want to lose that. I just want to lose the misery it got me into, but I didn't want to lose this fine moments just hanging out, relaxing. It's like the biggest comfort you can wish, right? Sitting down on the couch, feet up in the air, just smoking, doing shit, consuming some entertainment. And that's the reason why it's so attractive, right? Why you like it so much. And you have to switch your mind around by saying to yourself, you cannot ever do this again. Not in 5 years, not in 10 years, not when you have kids, not when your kids leave the house. You can never touch it again, because you cannot control it. Because it's very hard to see. There's obviously a lot of people that smoke weed casually that don't experience any problems with it. Well, at least not problems that big that they think it's an issue themselves. Obviously, they still miss out on a lot of opportunities to be more productive, but that's not my problem. There is a lot of people who don't bother their own smoking behavior, right? And that's cool. Everybody can do what they want, but that does make it hard for you, the people who actually do struggle with the amount of weed they smoke and the way it affects their lives. And it can be very tempting to say, wow, other people can smoke weed, so I should just be able to do so as well. But since you have gotten yourself into so much misery and still wasn't able to quit weed, this means you cannot control it, and therefore you just have to cut it out. Too bad for you, but you can't control the amount of weed you smoke, so you have to just completely cut it out. And this is a very fundamental mindset shift you have to make for yourself. You have to understand that you are not able to control your actions regarding to smoking weed. And if you are serious about some stuff you want to achieve in your life and the way you want to improve your life, you have to make an offer and you have to promise to yourself that you are not going to smoke weed ever again. And once you are committed to, okay, well, maybe someone's right, maybe I should just never smoke weed again, then it's very important to visualize what this is going to look like, because the temptations will stay and people are going to offer it, and maybe you are going to get drunk sometime and the temptation might be very, very big, very tempting. Or maybe there's some party, or maybe there's some other occasions. Ryan Holiday says in his book, Discipline is Destiny, he's talking about a certain topic about addiction, where he's talking about HALT, HALT. He says this is very tricky for people that struggle with recovery from addiction, because these four letters, they represent H, hungry, the A, angry, the L for lonely, and the T for tired. These are four states of mind which are very tricky for you to fall back into relapse. So when you're hungry, or either angry, or you feel lonely, or you feel tired, these four can make it very tempting to just start and go smoke weed again. So like I said in yesterday's video, it's very important for you to get good sleep, so your brain functions well, and this influences the quality of the decisions you make. It impacts the quality of these decisions hugely, so you want to make sure you sleep well, so you make good decisions, but also that you won't be tired, which also is going to make it more challenging to stay sober. Same when you are angry, you want to make sure that you take the time to actually reflect on your thoughts, to actually cool down and make sure you don't let this emotion influence your behavior by smoking weed again. The same for feeling lonely, you just want to get into new hobbies, new social circles, new activities to make sure you're not back on the couch again, feeling lonely, feeling bored, and therefore smoking weed again. And hungry is the fourth one. Well, that makes sense, right? To make sure you eat proper diet, that you have some snacks in order, that you don't feel hungry all day and therefore make worse decisions. So that's a little side note. Back to the topic, you have to make sure that you will also visualize future temptations and how you are going to react to these, how you are going to react to these. So when you tell yourself, well, I cannot ever smoke weed again, but there will be a moment that I'm going back to the football stadium to go to watch a football match, and that my neighbor is going to offer me if I want to smoke weed. And this is going to be very challenging, but because probably you already had some beers, and well, maybe you're not sure whether you can resist a temptation like that. And if so, you might want to ask yourself the question, is it worth it to still go visit the football? Or would you rather look for another hobby or another way to spend your time or another way to enjoy yourself, to stay away from those temptations and make sure that you're even after 5 or 10 years still sober from smoking weed. And what helped me hugely by achieving this is to attach all the previous misery that you experienced from this behavior, from the smoking weed, to attach this to the image of smoking weed in your head. Like, for example, I was socially just off the line, man. I was socially totally imploded. I have had simply no dating life. That's not all true. I was seeing some girls, but it was not what it could be or what it is like right now. I was very insecure. I didn't do anything to build my social circle or to surround myself with high status people to also improve myself. I didn't do any sports. I was looking like shit, my body, and therefore I was feeling like shit. Also because I was only eating shit, I wasn't sleeping properly, I was also smoking cigarettes. I just didn't feel good about myself. This is probably also the reason why I was insecure and not so confident about my dating life. And this whole image about the misery that the smoking weed brought you, you want to attach all of this to the act of smoking weed again in the future. You want to make yourself scared of smoking weed again. I remember I did this so well that after, well, it happened after I quit smoking weed, but even after 6 months or even after a year of sobriety, there would be moments that I got nightmares about smoking weed. That I would wake up, fuck, I had a relapse, I fell back into smoking weed, and then realizing it was just a dream. But I was talking so much to myself that I cannot smoke weed, it will get me into so much misery again, that I literally got scared of it, and therefore sometimes had nightmares where I dreamed that I was falling back into it and thinking, oh fuck, I fucked up. And then eventually, fortunately, realizing that it was just a dream. But this is how much effort you need to put into it, and this is what's going to help you to never smoke weed again. So promise to yourself, I'm never going to touch this shit again. Make sure that you get rid of all future temptations and that you attach all the previous misery that you got from this behavior, that you attach this to smoking weed again in the future, and therefore you will be scared to smoke weed again. This is what you want to achieve. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give me a like and a subscription, and then we see each other in tomorrow's next video. Cheers.